Torah Chavches Omeid. So far, we have touched upon the fact that those who are going against the Yireh Hashem, those who deride the Yireh Hashem and humiliate them and call them by derogatory names. This is because they receive Torah from Talmidei Chachamim, which the Rebbe very sharply terms as Shedim Yodayim. Now, the Rebbe does not engage in name calling. It says Shedim Yodayim. That means literally the Torah goes through the realm of the demons, or the realm of the Shedim. It's very interesting that we went through that. They said that this Shedim, that's because they received the Torah through the demons. The Torah that they receive is from the Alpha Nephulim, the fallen Alephs. Aleph is the source. Aleph is also from the Lashon of Elef, of 1,000. And all these things, Lemaisa, are tied together. Both the inyan of Aleph and both the inyan of Elef, and both. And when we say, that the length of a day of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is 1,000 years. Adam Arishan was supposed to live 1,000 years. If you notice, all the first people, they lived, up to 969 years. That was the height, but none of them reached 1,000. That's because of Chet Adam Arishan. And that what we says, Elef Shanim ki yom etzmol beinecha ki yom etzmol ki yavam. 1,000 years by you HaKadosh Baruch Hu is like yesterday's that has passed. So of Elef and Aleph is the same bechina. The same thing is that Aleph is the source, Aleph is the beginning, Aleph is the top, Aluf, champion. It's everything goes around this inyan of Aleph. The Aleph is the Torah. A'alfecho chochma means I'll teach you chochma. When you say, a trained dog, this is a kelev meulaf. There's a dog that was taught. This is le'alef, means to teach, means to train, means to. So it all comes through. It's all going around through the same principle of the Ois Aleph. They receive their chokhmah through the Alpha and Nephulim. When the Torah goes through the Shedim, the Alpha are fallen, have crumbled, and fell into the realm of the Shedim. And the Rebbe says, and that's why the Torah is full. He says about Shlomo HaMelech that his Torah was full with on every pasuk of the Torah. He said 3,000 Meshalim, 3,000 parables, on each one 1,005 reasonings. So which means over 3 million and samad, reasonings of every single pasuk of the Torah, because Shlomo HaMelech got his Torah from the Alpha Shebekdusha, from the Aleph Shebekdusha, from Alufa Shel Olam. But these Talmidei Chachamim, the people at Achoylek, is because they go to learn Torah. They go to learn Torah from the Talmidei Chachamim. They receive the Torah from Shedim Yodayim. Now, and on this it says the pasuk. The Navi says, "Is it not enough for you that you tire out people?" That you tire out the Kodesh Baruch Hu as well. So Rabbeinu says, it's about these Talmidei Chachamim that receive the Torah through the Shedim. Is it not enough, that you are weakening people, because if people come to you, they come to you to get Torah that will get them close to Kodesh Baruch Hu. Instead, they get a show. You know, they get a marvelous show, a brilliant show with Mashallah, with this, with that, anything you want. But they don't get from you Avodas Hashem. He says, is it not enough that you tire people out that way? He says, you also make Kiviyachal HaKadosh Baruch Hu weak. What does it mean? Being that your Torah is unproductive, and it doesn't bring a person closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're bringing the people who are learning by you to the maskana, whether it is explicit in their mind or is subconscious, that really HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not relevant in my life. You know, HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't have koyach to help me. HaKadosh Baruch Hu helps whoever helps themselves. You know, these kind of apikoshas, you know, from apikoshas, you know, that are going into the you know, do you trust HaKadosh Baruch Hu to help you? Do you trust HaKadosh Baruch Hu to help you you know, why don't you just, you know, trust HaKadosh Baruch Hu? So the answer is, yeah, but you have Zoichazan. Now keep the door open, it's good for the lighting. So, but you have to, it's very, very, very hot. So we're saying those people who are negating, who are against the Likutei Moharan is because they receive the Torah from the Likutei Moharan, that receive the Torah from the Shedim, from the demons. And this is the Alpha and the Nephilim, and this is not only that they tire out the people come to them to get real aids of how to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they get out with nothing. They get out with beautiful talk, you know. But not only that, but there is another, as we said, another residual damage, collateral damage, that it causes a feeling by the people that being that they don't realize that there's another Torah. You know, there's another way of hearing Torah. There's a Torah that really helps you in Avodas Hashem. You think that this is what Torah is all about. You come and you hear, you know, this beautiful mashal, this is a proverb, whatever it is. It's a brilliant idea. It's so deep. It's so profound. Whatever it is. But it's devoid of real productive way of teaching you how to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So what happens is that it breeds heresy in you. As if the Kadosh Baruch Hu is not really relevant in my life. You know, they have all kind of theories to cover up for that. You know, you have to be Zoicha, you can trust the Kadosh Baruch Hu, of course, but, you know, you have to be Zoicha, you know, who knows if you're worthy. You know, they have all kinds of those little heresies, you know, that creep in, you know, under the guise of really being super frum. I'm real frum. You know, so maybe I don't deserve a Kadosh Baruch Hu to help me. What do you mean? What do you mean, Kadosh Baruch Hu has a bear? Kadosh Baruch Hu has a bandit who's waiting you behind the corner? I gotcha! What is this? I mean, what's that's Yiddishkeit? So he says, not only do you tire out people, but you also Kiviyachal tire out HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You give the people the impression that the Kadosh Baruch Hu cannot help you. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu cannot help you, you know, so people look at people who are really Yiras Shamayim, who really serve the Kadosh Baruch Hu, and they're laughing stock by them. What are you wasting your time? You're sitting down, you're like, go to work, you know? What do you want, stock afterwards? You sit on your life, you learn Torah, now you're going to look for money, you know, to marry off your children? This is it. It's like, there was a fabulous word, you know, that some sefer, Zecher Tzaddik V'Kodesh Levocha, Schotot Hagen Aleinu, when he was a yeshiva bocher in the yeshiva by Reb Nosson Adler, what was going on is that the bochim used to eat by balabatim. You know, they said there was no food in the yeshiva, and be careful, it's very hard. So this is a good way of.
Is that hot?
Yes, it is.
We're just using
so he came, he was learning yeshiva, and he came a bit later to the Suda. So the Balabais, where he ate, said to him, in this prissy manner, by uns estmen at a certain time. By us, we eat at a certain time.
Sounds like a yucky.
What?
A yucky.
Well, yeah, I think it comes out of that spell.
Well, the sweat, just unscrew the whole thing.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I think it was Germany. So the Chatzar, though he was still a bochar, he looked at this balabait. He says, you think I eat by you? You eat by me.
What do you mean?
You're eating on my schus. You think that you're doing me a favor by feeding me? This is a sefer. You're eating by me. You have the schus to feed me, not the other way around. Or that because the sefer, when he was still young, he still said because he knew. And never that. But by them is what do you mean go to work? What is it? What are you wasting your time? Studying Torah? Because by them. It's a waste of time, but they're not going to say that because that blatant courses, But so they're not going to say. But that's actually what they mean. So the question is, why Davka they receive the Torah that goes through the Shadim? It's a very, very interesting point. Why Davka receive the Torah through Shadim, through the demons? What do the demons have to do with everything? I heard a moedik pshat, not Davka on this Torah, but it fits exactly into this from Nosson Lieberman many years ago. They said that there are 10 things that were created Erev Shabbos Ben Hashmoshes, the first 6 days of creation. So the last moment before Shabbos comes in, the Shavas Vayno, first Kodesh Baruch Hu stops, his handiwork. So the last thing is Ben Hashmoshes. It's the last call for the train. Before the train leaves, he says, so there are 10 things that were created at that time. The last thing that was created of those 10, he says, they were the Mazikim, the demons. And the Medrash says a very, very peculiar language. It uses a very peculiar language. It says, being that they were the last thing that was created, it was just the last thing before Shabbos. Lo hispika Kodesh Baruch Hu livro lehem gufos. Kodesh Baruch Hu didn't have time to create bodies for them, and they remain without body. Yeah. Now, how can you say about the Kodesh Baruch Hu? The Kodesh Baruch Hu had no time. Time is a creation of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Kodesh Baruch Hu was per definition beyond time. What's pshat? Kodesh Baruch Hu didn't have time to create bodies for them, and they remain without a body. And Shabbos came in. So Nosson Lieberman explained it to me in an unbelievable way. And he says like this, look, the truth is, as Ein Od Milvado, there's no other reality except the Kodesh Baruch Hu. That's it. In order for the world Bechlal to be born, for creation to be born, the first thing that needed to be created is a star, is a blocking out of that explicit fact that the Kodesh Baruch Hu is omnipresent and He's the only thing there is. That fact had to be hidden. Because there's no place to create anything. There's nothing except the Kodesh Baruch Hu. So then, this was a Kodesh Baruch Hu created the Chal Panui, the empty space, so to speak, the vacant space. The vacant space is a conceptual inyan. It's not a physical inyan. It means that the fact that the Kodesh Baruch Hu is everything is concealed. That's the Chol upon him. Now, as creation proceeds, more and more things are created. The more things are created, the greater the illusion that the Kodesh Baruch Hu is not the only thing that exists, grows. Not only there's a Kodesh Baruch Hu, there's also sky, there's also the earth, there's also sea, there's also birds, there's also trees. That, it's the more creation becomes, it becomes more sophisticated and more complete. The more the Astara, that the whole thing is nothing but Kodesh Baruch Hu alone, grows. So the Astara grows and grows and grows and grows as commensurately with as creation approaches completion and perfection. On the sixth day, man is created. A creature is created that has his own awareness, an awareness of his own existence, which no other animal has. Okay? And he has choice. And the choice is, I did it. I'm a self-made man. Oh, man.
I'm great.
Damn, I'm good. Forget about it, man. Like, whoa, check me out. And he's like, woo, woo. Sometimes I just think about myself and I shiver. Whoa. Coming out looking like a new King Kong. I was like, whoa,
I know.
Blonde hair, blue-eyed Idi Amin Dada coming out of the sky, flying a Spitfire, shooting down the Germans. And it's just like, I'm awesome. All right? It's all me. And the whole kavanah is that Hashem, that a person who can do all that, who has the choice to say, yo, I'm the one who's calling the shots, will give the melacha back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and says, everything is Hashem. Then, what you're doing is, you're accomplishing is you're making after creation equal to the way it was before creation. Everything comes back to being only Hashem, but through free choice. It's like when man when the man that was first created, it was female and female together, right, back to back. Yeah, this is how it was. And then Kadosh Baruch Hu performed the surgery and separated them, and then he brought them face to face and brought Chava to Adam, right? And he says, what's the difference? He says, it says, Vayivray Elokim es Adam, Kadosh Baruch Hu created the man. Adam means the whole man. Zochar v'nekeva bara, man and female, he created them. In one pasuk he says ha-Adam, and he says created man and female. And later on it says, it's not good for men to be alone. Yeah, he put him to sleep, and he sliced it in half, from the back, and from back to back, it became panim b'panim. So Adam says, when he saw Chava, he says, a palm is etzem atzomai, a self of my own self, flesh of my own flesh. Lazoi sikari isha. This is called a woman.
So the Hashem made first Adam, and from the etzem, from the
Adam and Chava together are called Ha-Adam. It was a single creature. Ha-Adam, it still is. The single creature is, each one is half a body. In the very beginning, they were both one thing. One side was male, one side was female.
Transgender.
And then it's the bigender.
Bigender, yeah.
Bigender.
Gosh, it was really two different.
what happened is after he separated them, man says now, hapam, says, it's flesh of my own flesh, it's, self of my own essence of my own essence. What's the accomplishment there? The men and women were already together. I mean, what do you need to separate them? If it's not to get back together. The difference is that in the beginning, when there were one thing, there was no choice involved.
Yeah.
There were one thing. It's only once there's separation involved and Adam chooses Chava, that's a union which is superior to the first one. The first one was per nature. That's the way you are. But he says, Apam. Now he says, not he chooses Chava. So that is an intimacy which is far greater than the one which is imposed from above. That's why it was created. That's why the hardest thing to do in a marriage is to fight that taking for granted. Because the taking for granted is that men and women become one. To recreate that moment when they first got together, when the first choice occurred. This is when marriage is fresh. This is when it's exciting. When you're re-choosing it all over again. So, the Bria was created. There is man who has a choice not to choose a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and he chooses a Kadosh Baruch Hu. He becomes one with a Kadosh Baruch Hu, but through choice. The very same way that when a man chooses his wife, when he has choice, that is fresh, that's exciting, the same thing is that when the Bria becomes one, that there's only a Kadosh Baruch Hu, but after the man made the choice, the Bria is far more complete than it was before the world was created. Okay? So then comes, the biggest story is man. I can say, I'm the one who did it. It's me. We're going to make America great again. It's all up to me. Right? It's like I'm competent. I'm the one. I'm the dude.
Whoa. Frightening.
The last possible moment of creation is Erev Shabbos Ben Hashmoshes.
Right.
That's the last. In other words, this is when creation came to its ultimate perfection. Immediately after this is Shabbos, that's it, finished. Which means that this is also the time that the greatest concealment of the fact that only a Kadosh Baruch Hu exists was also created. What was created then? What is that concealment? The illusion that it's shaykh to say about a Kadosh Baruch Hu, he didn't have enough time. There was something beyond him. Those are the mazikim. That's the essence of the demons. That you can have it in your mind, a notion that you can say, something which is beyond the Kadosh Baruch Hu. He didn't have enough time. It's not that he didn't have enough time so the mazikim remained out of body. It's the fact that the notion that you could say about a Kadosh Baruch Hu that what could he do? Didn't have enough time. That's the mazikim. Those are the shadim. That's why the Torah that comes to the shadim is a Torah that gives you the impression that the Kadosh Baruch Hu can help you. There's something which is beyond him. He didn't have enough time to create bodies. Kadosh Baruch Hu helps those who help themselves. You have to be zoiche for Kadosh Baruch Hu to help you. You can't just rely on him. That is when you hear Torah that comes through Talmidei Chachamim, Shedim Yehudim, Jewish demons. They receive their Torah through the demons. There is an inherent heresy built in. That there's a limit to what a Kadosh Baruch Hu can do. Up to here. Up to here it can do. If you don't do anything for yourself, no chance. No chance. And that causes the people who hear Torah from those Talmidei Chachamim to look down upon the really Rei Hashem and humiliate them.
Right, for sure.
Because as far as they're concerned, they're just bums.
It's easy to humiliate then.
Yeah, but you're just bummed. What are you sitting there and learn Torah all day? Go to the army. Pay taxes. You know what? You do something with your life, for crying out loud. Just sitting down and learning. You know, this becomes. He says, "V'nozul haboshet," says, "Ki habusha v'acheruf." The reason why this it comes from the kfiras. And the Rebbe says in Siman Beis, "Kshiyesh le'yireh Hashem cherpos v'bushos." And you know, so let's stop here and continue tomorrow. We'll do a little bit of Dibura Emuna just before we go to the. This seems to be